welcome to Random Thoughts from Random Geeks. I am Shellbot. Above me, I've got BK Dub, also known as Wheeler, and Duffy. How are you doing this evening, guys?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Saw some oddities and curiosities today.
That we did. All right, guys. I think tonight we are going to go with an article that Duffy is going to spring on us. So let's get into this.
All right. So tonight I'm going to help spark the engine for the conversation. Recently, some news dropped that AMC theaters has started accepting cryptocurrency for payment for movie tickets.
This is not the one I thought. Oh, this is not the one I thought you were going with.
So the fun thing here is now that they're accepting crypto. So to be fair to the audience, Shellbot and Wheeler both do not know this article ahead of time. I decided to spring it mid-conversation. But AMC is apparently taking crypto now. So the crypto they're taking is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin.
Oh, wow.
Also Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal. What is extra interesting on this is the article states, incredibly, they already account for 14% of total online transactions, with Dogecoin being the next one for them to accept. Like, it's on the roadmap.
Okay,
so go ahead.
Okay, so they're going with, you said Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash.
That's it,
right? For now. So you got 3 out of the top 10. Bitcoin Cash is.
Those are the more mainstream coins. So those are what they're called.
Cash, Bitcoin Cash is kind of a oddball, though.
It's a fork off of.
Yeah, it's a fork off of. It's kind of a fork between Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, but all of these are also accepted on all of your major financial exchanges and apps. So like Venmo and PayPal, being 2 of them, they have all those on their platforms as well.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
So the question is, or the statement is, how do you feel about it? And how do you feel about merchants accepting or adopting cryptocurrency, but also people who choose to use cryptocurrency to pay for it? Because there's been a huge surge in some like NFT tokens and like different stuff which are not included in this. This is more the mainstream, considered to be somewhat safer or more streamlined coins, but the prices still fluctuate, just as much. So from a business standpoint, what do you think? And then from a consumer standpoint, what do you think?
Okay, so this isn't the article I thought you were going after. First of all, I thought you were going after the delivery service, the popcorn delivery service. I thought that was the one you were going after, first of all. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Popcorn delivery.
Yes, they are.
Like to your seat in the theater or to your home at home when you're
to your home.
Like the big tins you get at Christmas time?
No, AMC. I read this article. I'll have to find it. They are going to start a delivery service of theater popcorn to your home. But
there are people that love theater popcorn.
Exactly.
But so then, do they pop it in the theater and then take it home and then bring it to you so it's cold by the time it gets there? Or do they have a special truck that can pop it in the truck?
So instead of the big trash bag that they take home with them or to the dumpster every night, that goes to your house instead.
Exactly. Yes, it's a matter of they just throw it over their bag and walk out the door with it.
They dress it up a little different. Maybe put a bow on it.
The bag says AMC on it.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of a video I saw. I think it's from that Southern thing.
College football.
Well, that too. But they did a whole thing about bringing AMC home, and they said they had like a sticky floor kit that you could buy, and so on and so forth. It's hysterical. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's where I thought you were going with this one. But I mean, this falls right in line with Tesla accepting Bitcoin for their cars. So,
but what? How do you feel about, again, business side accepting it and adopting it, and then consumer side actually doing it? Like, so my take is, I think it's just smart. Like, I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon.
Oh, it definitely won't go away.
Now, the value of crypto, like that's where the uncertainty is, right?
Yeah,
but I think
much of a roller
it's gonna,
coaster.
yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I think it's gonna maintain some sort of value. So it's not gonna be worthless in just like overnight. I mean, your smaller coins and stuff and NFTs can be, but these more mainstream ones, like what the AMC article talks about, those are gonna have worth for a while. So that said, I think it's smart. It's like, if it's currency, it could be used as currency. Like, why not get in on it? Now, from consumer side, the part where I struggle is like, man, if I was the guy who bought, a bunch of like 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin, I don't remember the actual number. Like, it was a crazy amount of Bitcoin. So whoever's listening, you can yell at me. It's fine.
Put it in the comments.
It was more than 100 Bitcoin for a fact. And 100 Bitcoin right now is, I don't know, like what, 6 million? Because it's like 60 something thousand each.
$68, I think. Well, I think on the last week.
68,000, yeah. So right now that'd be like 6 million or something like that if you had that. So that's just for 100. So I mean, I don't remember what the actual like amount he paid for pizzas were, but that's where I struggle from the consumer side. It's like, hey, if you have crypto, and maybe anyone in the audience listening, if you have crypto, would you want to spend your crypto on AMC movie theater? So like, apparently some people do, but
it'll force the issue of crypto being standardized and being governed more. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because that's where crypto is kind of that's the good thing about crypto, is it's not. So I pay attention, and I listen to a lot of finance people and everything, and dealing with all of their crypto and their financial things. Is they're putting a lot of their financial, because of inflation and everything, they're actually hedging their bets in crypto right now, because it's not regulated by any government, and that's the safest bet right now.
Sure.
But if a lot of businesses start accepting it, then governments are going to start having to get involved.
Yeah. Well, and I think they already are, but it's less of a, hey, would you invest in crypto? And Wheeler, I'm still interested to see what you think, but less of a, would you invest in crypto? More of a, hey, you have crypto. Would you spend it on commercial goods and services, like a movie theater ticket or a pizza or whatever? But would you want to spend it or hold on? Because Bitcoin in the last week or two is back up in the 60,000s, but the week or two before that, it was, I think in the last month, it's trended back up 20-30K.
Yeah,
right. So
by about 15.
Go ahead, Wheeler.
I think that the thing is that we're kind of skipping over a little bit. One, we just touched on it just now, was investing versus using it. And you bring back that you mentioned the guy that, you know, bought 2 pizzas for 100 Bitcoin or whatever. But back then, you know, it's not like Bitcoin. It's not like he bought those 2 pizzas and then Bitcoin shot to 60,000 the very next day. No. So he was basically playing, you know, using as market value. And for something like a movie ticket, $16 versus 1 Bitcoin that's worth 68,000, you're taking a fraction. Most people would be, okay, fine, I can do that, because it's not going to really affect their investment in Bitcoin that much if they have several Bitcoins or whatever. You know, if I have, you know, 5 Bitcoins and I want to spend $16 on a movie ticket, even if Bitcoin drops by $5,000 the next day, it's not going to hurt me. So I would be okay with that. I would be more leery of buying a brand new Tesla, because what if I get ready to buy a brand new Tesla and it's going to cost me 1 Bitcoin because the Tesla's like 68,000, or well, if you get like a cheaper model, but then the very next day Bitcoin drops by 10,000, or suddenly your 1 coin can't buy you that Tesla.
But think about it this way: put it into the terms of real currency. So you go to India, South America, to Venezuela, somewhere like that, where their currency is worth much less than the US dollar. And you exchange your US dollar for their currency. Now, your US dollar is worth 1,000 whatever. It's the same thing as you got.
Yeah, you're saying basically just a straight currency exchange, whether it's crypto or non-crypto. But
Exactly.
I think, okay, so first to clarify for the audience, the pizzas we are referencing was back in 2010 for a man, of course, in Florida.
The Florida man.
Who bought 2 pizzas with cryptocurrency using Bitcoin, in which he paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 delivered Papa John's pizzas. So that's what happened. Today, it would be an estimated worth of over 600 million for 10,000 Bitcoins. So I agree. The exchange part, I get it. Like it's currency. Like you could use it however you want. But at the same time, at this stage in the game, not maybe when the Bitcoin pizza happened, but at this stage in the game, it is now seen as a true currency, as an investment, you know, that kind of thing. And the market is known to fluctuate like it does. That's where I'm like, man, would I even want to give up? Would I even want to give up a quarter of a, you know, relevant coin? Because Ethereum's been pretty solid. And for those in the viewership who have not known or done much with crypto, you can just, you know, look online and there's little tickers to show you like prices and you know how they fluctuated up and down. But I wouldn't want to give up a quarter of like an Ethereum coin because it's steadily gone up versus Bitcoin has those huge fluxes.
Dips and valleys.
Yeah. I think the thing too, though, is if you have invested enough into either type of cryptocurrency, any type of cryptocurrency, to where you're comfortable with spending $16 worth of it to buy a ticket, then you're probably not that concerned with the market fluctuation at the time.
True. But on the flip, it could be beneficial because if you do think about it, to your Tesla reference, if Bitcoin runs and a lot of people say or predict or speculate on like social and like different places that Bitcoin and this has been since the end of last year, start of 2021, that by the end of 2021, Bitcoin will hit 100K. So if you
we're supposed to do that by the end of 2020, the end of 2019, and the end of 2018 as well.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing though, at the end of 2020, they predicted it was going to hit, I think it was either 40 or 60 or something like that. And it made a huge like 25 to 45K run from like November through like February, March. And then it's kind of fluctuated since then. I don't have the date specifically in front of me. That's just recalling from memory. But now it's going back up again, right? Of course, there's other like factors in the world right now, etc. But if it does hit 100K and you bought something with an entire coin, like a Tesla, your Tesla is still worth what your Tesla is worth. Well, as much as a car is worth once you drive off the lot, of course.
Right.
But your car is still going to be worth what it's worth. But then, just like the last big run Bitcoin had, when it hits that month and it drops down like half of its peak value that it went up to, now you actually came out ahead.
Yeah. See, as a business, I would be more concerned about crypto than I would as a consumer, especially
Agreed.
taking large amounts of crypto. Because going back to the Tesla reference, let's say you buy a Tesla for one coin. The very next day, the value of Bitcoin drops to, by half, something crazy, and it doesn't rebound right away. Well, you as a company just lost money.
You have to
sold
remember
a car that suddenly, the person basically got a steal on.
Well, you've got to remember, the U.S. economy was originally a gold-based economy.
Yes.
We're no longer on that.
No, that's why we have so much inflation right now.
Exactly. That's the reason why we're an inflation hive. And the Bitcoin economy is a dollar-based economy. And it's unfortunate. So if I were a business owner accepting Bitcoin, I would immediately exchange that. If I were worried.
I don't know. I would almost do a percentage.
That's what I'm saying is if I were worried. Because if I were running on margin, if I were running to the point of I have to have X amount of money to make sure I have my employees paid, there's no way that I would just accept Bitcoin and go on my merry little way.
So that is funny you say that, because the gift that keeps on giving, being crypto and employees getting paid. So how do you guys feel about an employer? Specifically, I believe this was in Miami for like the county workers. I'll look and see if I can find the article again.
Did you just say county workers?
Yes, so workers for the local county. So technically, it's the local government and stuff like that of the area. They were paying or offering to pay them a portion of their paycheck. I don't know if it was a portion or all. Okay. I'll look for this article. In crypto.
If now get that article.
Miami to pay employee. But what's interesting is if they would have taken it, and let me find the date. If they would have taken it now with Bitcoin having that rise, it's having a 20, 30K rise for a coin, which basically is doubled. It's roughly doubled its value, right? So if I would have gotten a paycheck for a month's salary or 2 weeks or whatever it may be for $1,000, and basically Bitcoin since then has doubled, that 1,000 is now 2,000, just like any investment. But it's kind of nice because it's like, hey, I can just put a percentage in it. They're doing it for me.
Right. Now, if it's a percentage.
My beef with that is I don't know if I would want to base my livelihood, my income on something that's volatile. Yes, I could come out ahead, but yes, I could miss rent 1 month or miss my mortgage 1 month.
Exactly.
That's too much risk for me. I would, if they're going to pay in crypto, I would want a small portion of it in crypto, just kind of like, a retirement fund type of thing. And then, I would want something that I can rely on being the same value today, tomorrow, and a week from now.
Correct. And that's what I was going to say is if it were me, I would want a percentage. And if you look at it that way, I mean, it's just like having a 401k. It's not a matter of having that having that as part of your yeah, it's part of your salary or part of your base, but it's an investment in
Yeah,
yourself
because
later.
it would bring
It-
whole new meaning to living paycheck to paycheck.
So
Absolutely.
I think this is where it gets interesting, right? So when you add this layer on top of it, and I'll quote the article in just a second, and I sent it to you guys in the chat. What you're saying is it's an investment now. But what we just talked about at the beginning was it's a currency to exchange for goods and services, right? So like this article actually goes into if the proposal was to pay city workers in Bitcoin, and with that, they're also going to look at allowing residents to pay fees and even taxes in Bitcoin if the county would allow it. I have to look and see if this ever got passed. I just found it very interesting though, because like you guys were stating, or definitely Shellbot, it's a currency, right? Who cares? Like exchange it. It's a currency. It's just like $1. I switch it for a euro. So if I was to get paid in Bitcoin, why would it be any different? Like I could just exchange it, right?
Yeah, but then you're still asking people to take a risk, a potential risk with their paycheck, something that they need to get by on, versus like if it was part of a 401k thing that they just put in, or part of a bonus or something like that. It's like, because if I got paid in Bitcoin, and if I'm living paycheck to paycheck, I have to think, do I cash this out now so I can get by? Do I wait to see if it goes up? What if it goes down? That's going to put way more stress on me than I want at that time.
And that's fair. I think that's totally fair. I think you would need to allow people the option. Like you couldn't just say, "Hey, this is the only thing we're going to give."
Yeah.
Like, we're only going to be
for some people that are more financially secure, getting paid in Bitcoin is probably fine for them. But for people that struggle to get by, that could be, that could add way more stress than what they're ready for.
Yep. Well, and I think you have to have the option, right? Like if you're going to do it,
Showbot, please click on number 4.
And even number 4.
Sorry.
I think that goes to a different podcast. But
no.
I think you have to give people the option, and even like you do direct deposit, right? Like you can split it between accounts. Like allow me to split payment. Like, hey, I'm going to do 20% in crypto. I want 80% in my local currency. Right?
Yeah, if you could do that I would be cool with, because then I probably would invest more in crypto.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the reason I presented this information in the way I presented it was the first one we talked about is goods and services and various businesses are starting to adopt accepting crypto as payment. And so like we talked about, like it's a currency to exchange. Well, it's hard to exchange unless businesses are willing to accept it.
Right.
Or you cash it out. But now if businesses starting to accept it, this sounds a little less crazy of an idea, because if I have crypto, like it's like I can go buy my movie ticket, or I can go buy my pizza, or whatever it might be.
Well, I think this raises another question too, is if more businesses, like even smaller ones like movie theaters and stuff like that, start accepting crypto, will that start to stabilize crypto more and prevent these wild rises and dips?
It's a good question.
Well, but then you got to wonder,
but
will it? Because look at the stock market. The stock market's a wild ride in and of itself.
Yeah, but that's an investment. You don't people invest in the stock market unless you're a day trader, and then that's your job. But I think people aren't buying a movie ticket with Apple stock.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing is, go ahead, Showbot.
I see what you're saying, but still.
What's kind of weird too is crypto's in that space of it's still trying to figure itself out, or governments are still trying to figure it out. And so if you buy or exchange crypto, there's a tax on it. Like there's taxes and fees related to it.
Yes.
Almost like a capital gains tax, like you would from a stock.
Yep.
Like if you bought and sold a stock, you would get capital gains tax, and then you have to fill out an extra tax form at the end of the year. So I think part of it is going to be having acceptable payment methods that enable crypto, which would be really interesting. Venmo and PayPal already do, but you can't typically pay for everything through Venmo or PayPal, right? Like there's still a lot of things that don't accept it, like grocery stores. So what'll be interesting is if Apple Wallet, like Apple's digital wallet or Google's digital wallet, or any of the other digital wallets out there that are used for digital payment systems, which now, thanks to COVID, which I'm not necessarily mad about because I prefer it for like credit cards and stuff. You could do your Apple Wallet, Google Wallet, and pay with your credit card through your phone.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time now.
Yeah, and before COVID, it was hit or miss, right? Like a lot of the systems didn't accept it, and a lot of payment systems, vendors, whatever it may be, just didn't accept it. Now they do. So if one of them came up with accepting crypto or did the exchange behind the scenes, I think that could really make it take off. And like you said, it could potentially even stabilize it to some degree.
Yeah, the glasses on that dude are hilarious. That's a great picture.
So I think this also should stabilize it more. More countries accepting it as legal tender. And
But the other thing with Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin, is how much can it stabilize, because there's a finite number of Bitcoins out there, and as they start to run out, as more of them get mined, it becomes more rare, so it's going to drive the value up automatically, so I mean,
and you don't have to sell.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to truly stabilize until every coin has been mined, and that's still going to take a while.
That's true in a lot. I'm not going to say all. A lot of the cryptocurrencies.
Not Dogecoin. They're creating a ton every single day.
Yeah, but you can still bury Dogecoins. Can't remember all their crazy terminologies. You can still bury their coins and so on and so forth, and in hopes that they will hit a limit, but their limit is so high that it's nearly limitless.
Well, so to stay on theme for maybe some of our viewers who don't care about the financial aspect, or maybe don't know about the non-financial side of it, how do you guys feel? And personally, spoiler alert, I think it's pretty cool. I have questions that more specifically on the technology side. But how do you feel about
full of it?
Yep. How do you feel about companies and, even more importantly, governments using blockchain, which, for our viewers, if you're not aware, majority of crypto is based on blockchain type technology, at least some of your bigger ones like Bitcoin, right? How do you guys feel about them using blockchain for all their important information? Here's an article. I came to play today.
Boy, you did. Dang, all right. Man.
This is what happens when he gets a good night's sleep.
No
this is
kidding, man.
So Estonia and I believe another country have actually made it to where all of their countries' governmental services and personal information is kept secured by using blockchain technology, and then everything can be done through blockchain for their people. So your health records,
Estonia
your taxes,
the country that Gilbert always went to, or is that Albonia?
I don't know. Now, I wasn't that prepared. Gilbert goes to the vet is the first thing that comes up in search. Gilbert. I see rest in peace, Gilbert. I know Gilbert goes to the vet. Estonia in World War II. I don't think it was Estonia. But back to blockchain. How do you guys feel about them using blockchain to help secure everything? Because I think it's kind of cool, and you've seen it, especially where there's a healthcare system for the public. I can't think of it now. A public healthcare system, you know, and like Canada has, and some of Europe has, and stuff. But it's nice to have like all of your records is maintained in blockchain. All my taxes, all my health. Now, granted, where my question comes in is, you know, blockchain itself has been proven to be very secure, but
It's Elbonia, by the way. I just looked it up.
Elbonia. Oh man. But how do you guys feel about all of your information being kept in one spot and being secured by using blockchain?
So
I mean, if it's secure, because it's all about security these days. I mean, the only thing about keeping it all in one spot is if it does get cracked, then they have everything.
Yep. Well, and here's the thing, right? Like the data is secured by using blockchain. So the data is encrypted or hashed and kept secure on the back end of it. But you're gonna log in or have like an Apple Wallet or Google Wallet of your personal information, right? So if they get hold of that login, you're kind of screwed, depending on how they implement it.
And who has? Is there a back door? Who has access? I'm inherently not trustworthy of my government, let alone any other government.
It's interesting, right?
Well, so I got to share this. I saw something the other day that kind of mentioned this, and then here's another article.
Most likely.
To kind of go with what you're talking about, Duffy, right now, and that's quantum computing and how it could break blockchain.
Ooh. I mean, I believe it.
Yeah, and I saw an article the other day. It wasn't this exact article, but it talked about how quantum computing could mess up blockchain and cryptos. Yeah, I mean, this could be something.
I actually saw this article, and I must say the JavaScript library they use to create that little graphic at the top is pretty cool. The little floating thing. Like I've seen it before, and I'm always like mesmerized.
That was created with quantum computing. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, this is on topic, but also a tangent. What's crazy is quantum computing is not as far away as people think. Like even supercomputers. Like, I mean, if you look at the stuff they're doing now with ARM-based processors, right? Like, they're making ARM-based processors take a gigantic leap from where computing power was to the next level. It's basically starting to become the next iteration of CPU. But what's really crazy is you string together a series of these small ARM-based processors like a Raspberry Pi. Like a Raspberry Pi is meant to be like initially one of those things you can just mess around with, learn some stuff, have some fun. It can do some things as well, automate, little engineering, like come up with idea kind of thing. But now if you string a couple of them together, you have more computing power than some like servers sitting in a data center. Not necessarily more RAM, but you have more computing, like CPU power.
I mean, Google's been doing that for a decade or better, been throwing together multiple small computers just to be able to do, massive calculations because that was just cheaper. So, yeah.
Well, and if you look at, and with Google being the example there, look at what they've done with some of their Pixel phones up until the latest one. Before they were using one camera and doing portrait style pictures where they were blurring out the background like it, normally, other phones were using two cameras to do that. And they were doing it all through pixel computations and looking at every single pixel and determining what's background and what's part of you and stuff like that. And they're throwing it on a stinking phone.
Yeah.
The technology that that you see in these cell phones and some of the computations those things run, especially with computing pictures and how it can highlight the parts that are saturated and things like that. Just that type of computing power is astounding, and how quickly it's evolved.
It's crazy. It's like one little thing will set, and I guess this is true for anything, but one little thing, especially in the tech world, or discovery, sets off a chain reaction of things. And it just moves so quick sometimes. Like, you look at certain products, like even when we've hung out or done things in the past, products, technologies, versions of languages, whatever, and you look at it now, several years later, it's like a completely different product, completely different tool, and so much more capabilities. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I just remember, I'm old. We're old.
We are old.
It's a matter of, if I had just went ahead and mined that Bitcoin thing that I heard about whenever I first heard about it years and years and years ago, man, I would be sitting pretty right now. Because
you don't even have to go back that far. If you would have invested in GameStop stock 2 years ago.
No, well, yeah, but still.
Well,
or Apple.
I mean,
Apple back when they first founded, yeah.
Yeah.
Go back a year and a half. If you would have invested in basically like any brand name stock, like, the market was so bad, people were just pulling money out. And granted, it got pretty bad, but then it always bounces back, and now it's back where it was and some, right? Like, I wish I had the money to personally invest more than I was able to, or knew more about the stock market than I did. And maybe, hey, we can make that a future topic, like books or things that information, books, things that we weren't necessarily taught in our youth. That's good to know now.
If any of our viewers have anything that they want to add to it, please pop it down in the comments section. We'd love to hear your all's take on that. And any of this that we're talking about here. If we're if our takes on any of this are completely stupid, just let us know. Please flame us. That's what we're here for.
Don't flame me.
Duffy.
I have such a fragile ego. I don't want to get flamed.
Particularly Duffy. Just go up on Duffy.
I was ready. I had all the links.
You weren't ready for Albonia.
He had the receipts. He was ready to come.
I was not ready for Albonia. I forgot there's ready and there's getting ready to talk with Wheeler ready. And
exactly.
Wait,
there is overlap.
What's the name of our podcast? What's the name of this podcast?
Random.
Exactly.
Random thoughts. But that's like your default thought. It's only random if it's random. Like, random is your default.
I don't even know what I'm going to say sometimes. So.
I know, but so does that truly make it random then? Because even you don't know.
Well, it's not calculated. Because if I calculated what I was going to say, I probably wouldn't speak.
If the default is random, is it truly random? Can you truly have random in technology? And I will leave the podcast there. Boom. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
And if anyone's worked,
I'm not going to drop my mic. I like it.
Yeah, it's on my headset. I can't actually. Okay. But if you've ever worked on slot machines or programming slot machines or games and had to do random, then you know what I'm talking about. Can a random ever truly be random? And that's my final thought for this session.
That is all that Duffy has to say about that.
That was a good talk. I like that.
That was pretty good. That was pretty awesome. I will have to say that I'm still kind of in shock that AMC is going to be taking.
I'm waiting for AMC to take Shiba Inu. Yeah. Did any of you guys watch all the new Disney Plus Day reveals?
Yes.
Actually, I read about a few of them. I didn't see any of the trailers or any of the teasers. What about Disney Plus now allowing IMAX format on some of their streaming movies? Which basically means it's going to take up your entire screen now instead of being letterbox as it has.
Yeah.
Facts.
Bill.
Because
So
I always thought that was funny because, we all, back in the day we had those the regular CRTs that were, the 4:3 ratio. So all the movie theater movies were all letterbox. And then we get to the 16:9 ratio so that movie theater screens basically fit. And then they come up with a wider aspect ratio in theater so that you still watch letterbox formats on your widescreen TV. It just, just kind of goofy. What was that?
something about COVID-19.
My phone went off.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, that was another random thing.
So watched Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi. How
Shang-Chi.
is it pronounced? Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi. I mean, I'm
Shang-
The 10 rings.
yeah, the 10 Ring movie.
You're tendering?
The 10 rings.
You're tendering?
He's a tenderloin.
Ooh.
Duffy, you're married.
Don't smoke me so good. Get it? Tenderloin smoked.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Crushed it.
Shang-Chi was fun. I enjoyed that movie.
It was fun.
Have you seen it yet,
fun.
Duffy?
Yeah, so we watched it the other night, and we didn't see it in theater just because our schedules and just didn't line up. But we were excited that it came out on Disney Plus, and we watched it at the house, and it was good. I definitely think we were fortunate enough to get a home theater system recently. Been saving for a while for that, and it definitely helped with the impact of a lot of the scenes. And then I thought the movie was just like real. It's another Marvel magic, man. They have the formula. The editing, the scenes, how they did a lot of the artwork, the sound. Like I thought
CGI was not there though.
I don't think it was terrible though.
It looked too cartoony.
But it's supposed to be a little mythical, magical.
Well, no, I mean even the like some of the reality portions of it were very cartoony. I mean, like if you watch some of the chase scenes,
maybe
whenever they were in the car.
Were you watching out 4K or?
Yes.
Oh, I was not. So it wasn't ruined for me.
Okay, that might be the reason. Yeah, we were watching it on 4K, and
the CGI effects are done in 1080p.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the problem.
Because
just look.
Come to my house. I got the old stuff.
Oh, yeah. It just looked a little cartoony, and it just didn't look right. But I mean, it's a good movie. I mean, the fight scenes and the choreography of the fight scenes that was awesome.
What'd you guys think of Ben Kingsley being back? The Mandarin dude from Iron Man.
I thought that was hysterical. I was like, who's Ben Kingsley? Yeah, that was hysterical.
Yeah.
The freaking Planet of the Apes reference, I laughed so hard at that. I had to literally stop the movie and rewind it because my wife and daughter were just sitting there. They were looking at me weird. But it just cracked me up so hard. If you don't, I mean, that just made me laugh because that was just great. Maybe I'm the only one.
Well, I saw the movie in theater, so I saw it a lot further back than what you guys did, so it's not as fresh in my head. So,
no, I thought it was cool. Like him and Morris, just I don't want to spoil it in case this clip is used.
Yeah, exactly.
But him and Morris were perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very, very good movie. Now the next thing I want to see is freaking the new Venom movie, but who knows when that will actually be coming out?
Yeah, it's fun. I really like Woody Harrelson, so I enjoyed the movie. But
have they had a streaming release date on that yet?
I don't know. I haven't heard. If I end up watching a movie in theaters, I really don't check to see when it's going to stream. So
yeah. So I want to see that next, and then of course, as we said last time,
Ghostbusters, and you got to see Dune. If you haven't seen Dune, watch Dune.
No, I disagree. What you need to do is no, I disagree. I'm not saying Dune was bad, but I don't.
It was bad.
No, I thought it was a very well done job. But if you've seen the original, what they do in the original in one movie, they stretch out, add on to, and do in two movies that are both like 2.5 hours long. Well, we don't know officially what the second one, like the length of it's going to be, but the first one is like 2.5 hours long, and it's mostly development of what's about to partake in the second movie. So when I started watching it and I saw part one on the intro, I was like, wait, this is a two-parter? Like, or is it going to go and like be one of those movies that has like these chapters and it's like, oh, this chapter, you know what I mean?
We're going to have an intermission.
Yeah. So what I think is, contrary to Wheeler's opinion, I say wait until the next one's about to come out, which has after the opening weekend of it, it was officially greenlit for the second one to be made.
Yeah, it's going to be October of 2023.
Boom, there you go. I would wait until just before then to watch the first one, and then that way you can watch the second one in the theater and be blown away. So,
one thing I'll say about Dune is it did the same thing to me as when I watched Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. On the way home after watching that movie, I stopped and bought the books because I wanted to read the books and get more into the world. After watching Dune, I bought the book a couple weeks ago. I wanted to get more. I want to get more into that world and learn more about it. It had that type of effect on me. It really drew me in.
That's the same thing that happened after you watch Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Well, Clifford always does that, though. I mean, he's a big red dog.
How is he so big?
You want to see his mom, who is actually a Chihuahua, and his dad, who is actually a Dachshund. How did they create Clifford? I mean, it's amazing.
Never quit attitude.
Nope. Nope.
All right.
Never quit. No. Never mind.
And that's a good stopping point for me.
All right. I think that's enough for tonight. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Remind y'all that we do have this broadcasted or syndicated over on a podcast form as well, on all of your favorite podcast platforms: Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and Audible as well. And we also, Wheeler, you have a gaming channel.
Yes, check out my YouTube channel. It's the same as my name that's on screen, BKDub77. It's all gaming content. The focus on fighting games, but I'm mixing in some other genres as I go and just doing other things. So I'm still building up on that. Also have a Twitter account if y'all want to check that out, and it's BDub1977. So you can find me there. And yeah, I mean, I'm slowly starting to get more active on Twitter as well. So yeah, check it out.
And Duffy, you've got a DevOps blog.
Yeah, so the theme where the concept is life in the day of a DevOps engineer. Just some random stuff I'm working on, have worked on, have helped people on, or just some of the random things that I do. Always looking for suggestions if someone's curious, because it's a very popular or hot buzzword field right now. So there's always questions. Been on a little bit of a hiatus getting some certifications lately and helping, the day job. But, you should see another post or two coming here at you pretty soon. And always open to more ideas. Just let me know.
All right, cool. Well, be sure to do the thing and click the doohickey for the notifications, and we will talk to y'all later.
Like and
Thanks.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe. See ya.